My name is Joseph Kim. I am 52 years young, and I was in Korea for 4 years, and then in 1974 I was in Kansas, and then I grew up all my life in Colorado Springs. My father really emphasized me speaking Korean. He had a big 애국심, national pride about Korea, so he always emphasized for me to speak Korean, as well as my sisters. I had a chance to go to Korea to become a film composer, but someone told me, this really famous guy who did the music for this drama called 모래시계. He was the one that produced it, and I somehow met him, and he told me, if you do music for movies, you are like a third-rated composer. So he said to do K-pop, not the idol K-pop at that time, but Korean pop music. And so I was able to get in with that. I did want to talk about how Steve Jobs once said that there are a lot of dots in your life, and dots represent the people, the significant people that you meet, as well as significant events that happen. And my very first dot was this very talented young lady. I used to work in LA when I was 23 as a producer, and in walks in this girl and her mother. She was 16 years old at the time. And they came in and they needed a song composed for these lyrics that they wrote, and she wanted to enter this gospel contest. And so I wrote that song for her, and she actually won the grand prize. And her name was Lena Park. Park Jung-hyun is probably one of the most famous singers here in Korea ever since this show called 나는 가수다, which was very popular, and that made her like a megastar. And at that time, I was thinking, one of these days, because of her, I'm gonna do well. I'm sure I might have had some other dots, but as far as a career is concerned, Lena, also being one of my closest friends, is one of the biggest dots in my life. I did not know about K-pop music at that time. I was more of a pianist. My aunt had her wedding, and behind her wedding music, there was this song that came out, and I just loved the song, and I somehow found the score for it, and I was actually able to play it because I guess it just got ingrained in me subconsciously, and I just loved it. Every day I would practice like 8 hours, and I even went to college with music as well. It wasn't until I attended a school in Hollywood called MI that I really got into pop music. When 21 and Big Bang came out, they definitely were people that paved the way to have Korea go to America and all over the world. But I think the actual person that made that really possible was Psy. I went to this one gig in Austin, Texas, where it's predominantly American people, and I asked, "Do you guys know who Psy is?" And they knew who he was, and they really liked him, and right there I thought, oh my God, I could start dreaming. I do believe that I have an advantage, and like I mentioned before, it was the kind of music that was like maybe 2 or 3 years ahead of the trend. So if it goes too far above the trend, it's very difficult for people to cope with that. But being 2-3 years ahead at that time, they didn't know how to write like that, because at that time YouTube wasn't around. Now I think composers can write advanced music because of things like YouTube. But at that time, because I was in America, it was like kind of having like YouTube all over my mind and being able to study it and bring it out to Korea. So I think a lot of people, when I wrote songs for them, they couldn't really imagine writing songs like that and having that kind of melody lines, and that kind of feel. So I did have an enormous amount of advantage, I think. So now my way of thinking is, instead of as a writer, I want to be a producer who helps young writers do their thing. very recently, and it's going to start actually in next week. We started a brand new K entertainment company, and now it seems like it's like full circle. I finally came to a point where, okay, now I can start again. Because at that time, I was in the mainstream and I was one of the mainstream, and now that I'm not, I can be of help, not just musically, but with leadership skills and just knowing about the industry and how to help younger kids, fulfill their dreams, and then 이끌어 them and get them to help me take things to the world with their talents. And my goal right now, especially as America, of course, me being speaking in English, America from Korea, not starting from America, but from Korea, incubating in Korea, to take it to America like BTS, like more BTS's kind of projects, whether it be movies or whether it be dramas and just K entertainment. And we are incubating two idols, a boy and a girl, and we're gonna start that. It's not gonna be for a few years, but definitely has a really big chance of succeeding. Because I'm not a singer or anything that's in the front, when I say I want to be a part of that, is I want to be a behind the scenes person with my name, being able to help to bring things to the world. For some reason, Korean people have talents that's out of this world, and I think a lot of other countries, especially Asian countries, I think really can envy that. Life sometimes is like a full circle, and I can give you kind of an example of that. When I was writing for Anne, the Anne 1, there was this group that I really loved, Brown Eyed Soul, right? And so what happened is, before I gave that particular song that hit with Anne, I sat around in a keyboard, and we were at the studio. Brown Eyed Soul was there. And they were sitting behind me, and I was actually playing the piano, singing that song to them, right? And one of the members said, "Oh, I like that song, but I don't think it will fit us very well." So I said, "Okay, that's fine." And then it went to Anne, and it did very well. And ironically, I think it was like 2018. I got a phone call. I got an email from Sony Publishing saying that they're gonna make a remake of your song. And I said, "Oh, awesome." And I said, who's the person? And they said it was Brown Eyed Soul. Being able to come back and being able to start again from a different point and it coming full circle, I think that could be a big theme for my entire life. You just never know the people that I've met. So I think it's a good idea for people to not to give up and go just as far as you can, because you never know, it can come full circle and it can happen at that time in a different manner. My name is Joseph Kim, and this is my Korean American story.